Okay, it is Shidoshi Miller here with Warrior Concepts and the Bujinkan Mori no Dojo, and I want to thank you for being checking in with this lesson. And so what we're going to be focusing on during this class are 5 things, right? 5 things that I have learned over the course of my training career, right? That you must possess if you're going to succeed at mastering ninjutsu. And in full transparency, I believe that these are things that you need to have if you're going to master anything, right? But since we're in the realm of ninjutsu, right, the ninja's martial art system, then that's where we're going to focus, right? So these are 5 things that you must possess if you're going to succeed at mastering ninjutsu. Now, some of these things were things that teachers told me I had to have, and since I, had teachers to guide me in the right direction, I trusted them and did those things. And eventually I came to understand why they told me that I had to have them, okay? And then other ones were things that I discovered along the way of my own accord. Nobody really told me. It was one of those things where it became self-evident. And maybe I had it originally, and then I came to understand the importance of it. And let me just say that, when I lay these things out, there are a few more, but I decided to stick with 5 for this lesson because it's a good place to get you started, okay? And what I'm going to be talking about here, much to the chagrin of a lot of folks, right, who are just going around to grab this technique or that technique or this cool move or whatever, these are things that you need to possess before you even pick out a teacher, before you even pick out a training course, before you set up a place to study or begin training, before you even start looking at techniques or skill sets or whatever, okay? These are personal traits, okay? And you either need to have them already as a person or have the potential, right? And I think we all have the potential anyway, but you already have to have them fairly activated, right? Or you have to, as soon as I tell you what they are, right, you're going to have to kind of accept them and nurture them much more fully, because these are the things that are going to carry you through injuries or life things that derail you from training for a while. They're going to be the things that get you back into training after an injury. They're going to be the things that keep you training and keep you moving when it just gets, boring, right? It's the same stuff. Man, why do I have to keep doing this? Well, because you haven't mastered it yet, right? It's going to be the thing that gets you through what I call ego's distractions, okay? Because ego wants to be entertained, right? Ego wants to have it for self-grandizement rather than for other things, okay? And you'll see what these things are as we move through. But again, this is a good start, okay? So I'm a big fan of laying a solid foundation. But remember, no matter how many skills we learn, no matter how many kamae we learn, no matter how many kata we collect, no matter how many belt colors we've gone through or whatever, ultimately there is this person, right? There is this I or me who is doing it, right? And so mastery is not in the skills. Of course, you need the skills, right? Mastery is not in how many kata you know. Of course, that would be helpful. If we're talking about kata, they're learning tools, but I need to know these now, even though I'm beyond the kata. I need to know them because I'm teaching them, right? So, but there is this person, okay? And if you've gone through other programs that I have or that I put students through, like the Life Mastery or the Life Purpose Discovery process, right? It's all about the person who is becoming, the person who is progressing, the person who is becoming the master, okay? So that's really where we're starting here with the foundation, okay? So, if you're one of these folks that are just running around and collecting techniques, and that's what you want, if that's all you want, okay? You just want to learn the moves. You just want to get a black belt wrapped around your waist so you can show it off to other people or whatever, then, lucky for you, I, toss this in as a free lesson, right? It's not costing anything. So it's, you can click off of it. There's, it's just, this is not for you, okay? As a matter of fact, I would suggest that the rest of it is not for you either, because if you're just running around and collecting techniques, it wouldn't matter if you were doing ninjutsu or karate or taekwondo or Thai kickboxing or flower arranging or underwater basket weaving or whatever ego has decided is the thing that you can use to impress yourself or impress other people. You can swap all those things out, okay? And again, if I'm continuing to irritate you or upset you, all you have to do is turn this off, okay? It really is that simple, okay? And my close personal students know how this works, right? They know how the process works, and they know the position that I'm coming from, especially at this point in my life when I'm giving this lesson. Okay, so if I'm irritating you, then I'm probably not the guy that you want to develop a long-term relationship with, because it'll only get worse as we move along. Okay, so this is where it is. Okay, so anyway, so again, here we are, right? 5 things that through the course of my training career, I have discovered that you must possess if you're going to succeed at mastering ninjutsu, okay? So very quickly, I'll name the 5, and then we'll go back and take a look at each one of these things, just, as a place to start, okay, as a foundation or an introduction to start, and to give you some things to think about and some things to focus on. And this really is a part of that whole self-assessment thing, right? This is answering the question, not is ninjutsu the best martial art for me or the best self-protection and personal development system for me. This is going to answer the question, am I right for ninjutsu? Okay? Is this a good fit, right? Or should I be going off and doing something else? Okay, so this is a tough pill to swallow, but it is what it is, right? Because if we look at the way ninjutsu is laid out, okay, if we were talking about this system that was developed way back in ancient Japan that I actually have a program for, and you can learn about that later, but there's this course called the Ninja no Hachimon, or this system or outline called the Ninja no Hachimon, which are these fundamental 8 areas of training that were determined in ancient Japan that were necessary for any school to profess that it was teaching ninjutsu, right? They had to be teaching and actively training in these 8 areas. Now, in modern days, they would look different because we're talking about 8 areas. Several of the areas would be different because they dealt with the weapons and the technology of the time. Other ones are universal, right? They're gonna translate across time. So some of these things would be different in modern times because the weapons are different, the type of combat is different, the technology is different, that kind of thing. The essence behind them is the same, but anyway, there's this outline, okay? So you had to be doing these things, okay? In one of the gates in the Ninja no Hachimon is called the Ninja no Kyomon. Kyomon means, mon means gate, right? So the 8 gates of ninja training, Ninja no Hachimon, the 8 gates of the ninja are the 8 gates of ninja training. The Ninja no Kyomon, right? Kyo in this case means knowledge, okay? And one of the aspects that is often overlooked when people look at Ninja no Kyomon is the aspect of self-knowledge, okay? Self-knowledge, learning as much about myself as possible, okay? There's actually a series that my students go through. There's these different codes and creeds that we have, right? And one of these sets is called the vows of intention, okay? And as a part of the vows of intention, there are 8 of these that students commit to memory because they're a way to self-check and their statements of how we live in and engage with the world and ourselves and how we live life, okay? So one of these, I believe it's number 5, is I intend to learn as much as possible about myself, my world, and my martial art. This is a statement that reflects directly to the Ninja no Kyomon, okay? Because it talks about self-knowledge and just knowledge in general, right? As much as I can learn, okay? Ninja no Kyomon is on the list. It's knowledge, because the more I know about myself, about the world, about other people, about the interactions between them, about the way the world works, all those kind of things, right? About my martial art, right? The harder it is for people to deceive me, to manipulate me, to, well, in modern Western parlance, right? The harder it is for somebody to blow smoke up my butt, okay? So it's a necessary part, right? In the Togakure school of Ninjutsu, right? Our oldest ninja school of the 9 schools that we teach, right? The first area of the Ninja Juhake, right? The 18 levels of ninja training. The very first one is Seishin Teki, okay? Seishin Teki. Seishin Teki is about self-knowledge, right? It's personal clarity, right? So it is this thing, okay? So again, I'm going to say it again. If this is something that you don't want to spend any time with, or that only gets 0.1% of your attention because you're all about the cool weapons and the moves and the kata and all that kind of stuff, then already you're disqualifying yourself from ninja training, because ninja training at its core foundation with the Ninja no Hachimon, which are actually a part of these 18 levels of training as well, right? It's a part of the first part of training to be a Togakure ninja, right? Self-knowledge is part and parcel of the course, right? You can't do ninjutsu and not be doing this part, right? It's part of and I can't even say it's an unwritten rule. It's a written rule, right? It's an aspect of training that was determined to be an unnecessary thing. If you're not doing that, then, all right, you either need to start doing it. You need to, whether you like it or not, you need to accept it, right? Or you need to go back to the Rolodex or recipe card box of martial arts styles and pick something that it doesn't require this, okay? So, all right, that being out of the way, right? So let's do this. We'll go down the list here quickly. I'm going to give you these 5 things. Again, there are more. I just decided that, these 5 things were the foundational pieces that are going to get you moving in the right direction, okay? Of course, there are more, and if you want to explore that later, we can do that. But for right now, we'll look at these 5, okay? So, again, these are in no particular order. When I was doing my notes, I just tossed these out in the order that they came to me. To me, they're all equally important, okay? But even though I have them numbered, right? So I have 5, okay? So what we're talking about here is commitment, focus, vision, discipline, and a code of action. Everybody talks about the ninja having a code, or the samurai having a code. What does that mean? Okay? So what we're talking about here is a code of action or a set of beliefs. Okay? So anyway, one more time. Commitment, focus, vision, discipline, right? And a code of action or a set of beliefs, and that are congruent with success. Okay? Because when I say mastering ninjutsu, right, we're talking about success, right? We're talking about mastering anything is having ultimate success, or from my perspective, mastery is actually going beyond what we would have defined as success, okay? Mastery, when somebody masters something, it almost looks like they're not doing what everybody else is doing, and they're taking all kinds of shortcuts, and it's because they understand that thing so well that they don't have to follow the manual anymore, okay? So anyway, all right, so let's go through these one by one, take a look at them, and then we'll do a quick summary, and then, if you want to explore something beyond that, that's fine, but let's do these as our foundation, because I promise you, if you get 3 or more of these in place, you're going to see a massive change, right? Any one of these things will create, a fantastic change for you. But 3 or more, you're going to blow past most people in a very, very short amount of time. Okay. All right. So number 1, commitment. Okay. If you can commit to your training, if you can commit to this art, if you can commit to learning, not just learning, but mastering this, okay, and sticking to it and things like that, right? No matter what, okay, through the good and the bad, hardship, anybody can do things when it's easy, right? But what we're looking at here is committing to something so much so that no matter what happens, short of death, you're gonna keep at it, okay? If you can do that, you will instantly and automatically put yourself in the 1/10 of 1% of the entire population of the planet who can commit to anything to that degree. It doesn't matter if it's religion, politics, education, family, whatever, okay? If you can commit to something through good times and bad times, I mean, it's in wedding vows, for God's sake, right? No pun intended. Through sickness and health and all that kind of stuff, right? That's what we're talking about here. If you can do that, you put yourself in the 1/10 of 1% of the entire population, because ninjutsu is not easy, right? This is not the I'm going to have my black belt in a year kind of thing. This is not about black belt in a certain amount of time, right? Because the easy way to get your black belt is to go online to someplace like awma.com. I'm giving you the address, awma.com or tigerclaw.com or centurymartialarts.com. These are all martial arts supply places, okay? Pick out the black belt of your choice, embroidered or not, order that, and now you have a black belt, okay? You're not of black belt quality, but that's the easy way. The next easy way would be to gather up a whole bunch of money and either go to Japan or go train with somebody who is a licensed Shidoshi or higher, right, who's trained in Japan or gone through the process or whatever, who will just give you rank for being a good guy or for showing up or for, because you were around for 6 months or because whatever, okay? That's the other easy way to do it. But if your training and mastery to you is about developing the skill set, okay? This is when I said having a black belt in a year, I don't mean that somebody wants to learn all the skills and meet the standards and all that and have their black belt in a year, because that's a sign of progress. That's fine. I'm talking about somebody that jumps in and is just going to show up and, they plan on having their black belt in a year, not because they have the skill sets behind it, but because they passed all the tests and, look, I earned my black belt. Great. Okay. So I'm talking about mastering the skills and being able to put this art to work in your life and not just earn a belt that you can show off to everybody and impress them, okay? It's not easy, okay? And by default, that makes it not for everyone, okay? If it was for everyone, then it wouldn't be ninjutsu. We would not. The entire culture, right, all these people within different social groups and all that, right, would not be in awe of the ninja if this was something easy to be, right, or to do, right? It's not, right? Just like somebody who becomes an Olympian-level athlete, right? We wouldn't take time out of our lives to watch the Olympics or, I don't know, when I was growing up, we had these different shows, too, called Wide World of Sports and things like that, right? We wouldn't watch these things because the people we were watching had the same skill we did. Okay? It's not the same. Okay? So commitment, really important. Okay? Commitment is one of those things that will get you through the challenges. Okay? Again, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy, right? In other programs, and I don't have the time to talk about this now, but we go through the 3 aspects of being a ninja, right? in the Ninja no Hachimon course, one of the first lessons you get is, we define what a ninja is, and we divide that thing. We split that thing into these three aspects. Not my words, right? These are things put out by the Grandmaster and things that have been, passed down through time, but three aspects that make up a ninja. And all three of these aspects prepare you for handling challenges and difficulties, right? I mean, the very base root of the word ninjutsu or ninja is endurance, perseverance, okay? So you need to have commitment for that, okay? All right, enough said about that, all right? So next one, okay, focus. Call it concentration, call it focus, call it single-mindedness, okay? Not the same as commitment. Commitment is like it, but with this, what I'm talking about here is the ability to focus on one thing. Focus on ninjutsu, right? No jumping around from this style to that style to that style or whatever as though they're all the same thing, okay? One of the things that one of my teachers used to point out was that these people that jump around, right, from style to style to style, and there's lots of reasons for people to do that, but they jump around because they're not focused on one thing for a significant amount of time. What ends up happening is they learn a bunch of skills. They learn a bunch of stances and kamae, whatever you want to call them, right? They learn a bunch of these things. They learn a bunch of kata. They learn how to use a bunch of weapons, but only at a foundational level, never at a mastery level, okay? So what they end up doing, they feel, this is this big word in today's world, right? They feel like a master. They feel like they have mastered a lot of things, or they feel like they're doing a lot of work, but in reality, they're a white belt at a lot of things, okay? They never quite get out of the basic to lower intermediate levels of proficiency, right? They're on their way to mastery, but they're not all in on something, okay? A lot of folks do that. They jump around, or they jump around from teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher. And while that's not a bad idea, right, you still need to have a home. You still need to have a focal point, right? So, yes, you do, like when I go to Japan, I train with several different teachers and all that, but I have one person that is acknowledged as my teacher, okay? When I studied Mikyo with my teacher, Reverend Jikai, okay, for a while, he said, it's okay that you explore this or that or whatever, right? That you train with these different teachers that you're currently training with, but at a certain point, excuse me, let me get a drink here. Nope. At a certain point, you're going to have to choose a teacher because that's the way a lineage works. From teacher to student who becomes a teacher to their student who becomes a teacher. Okay, that's the way a lineage works. Okay, you're not just in the stream. Okay, a leaf is in the stream, but it's not a living, breathing part of the flow of the stream. Okay, so anyway, so focus, right? The ability to stay focused and not get caught up in every cool new thing that comes along, in every, not even get caught up in everything because it has the word ninja attached to it, okay? So really important, okay? So commitment, focus, okay? Next, right, is vision, right? Vision, right? And I mean like more than just I want my black belt, okay? Earning your black belt is a goal, but what is the vision, right? What is your picture of you and what you'll be able to do by yourself or with these skills once you have them? Once you get where you're going, what will you experience? What will life be like for you? Okay? Now, I know that sounds awfully big, and a lot of people don't give any thought to that, but then most people are focusing on just getting their black belt or something even more vague. Oh, man, I really want to learn Ninjutsu. Great. What part of it? To what extent? Right? What does that mean to you? Okay? So what I mean by vision is you must know why you are learning this martial art, right? What's the reason behind it? And what you're going to do with your skills once you possess them. What will you be able to do? For who? Why? Okay? How will that provide a sense of fulfillment? I told you that this was a part and parcel of personal development, personal clarity, personal knowledge, self-knowledge. Okay? So, and this is true across the board of doing anything in life, right? The people that are most successful in anything had a vision for what they wanted to become, who they wanted to become. Not just having a college degree. There are tons of people out there that have law degrees and are not working as lawyers, right? They went to school, got a law degree, and they hate working in an office or being in court or can't have crappy presentation skills or whatever. They hate doing that kind of thing. There are lots of people who have degrees in lots of things that aren't working in those things, okay? Because their goal stopped, their vision stopped at getting the XYZ degree, okay? The people that are most successful and are most passionate and love what they do are the people that set out people or to help themselves or to build a life that was a certain type of thing and then chose that degree or that path as the means to get there, the means to provide that thing that they wanted, right? It was the path or the tool or the means, right, to make that a reality, okay? Because if you want to master ninjutsu, to have self-defense skills, right, to be able to protect yourself and protect other people, right, there are lots of alternatives. So what else is there, okay? What is it that ninjutsu will provide for you? What will ninjutsu make you into? What type of person will it make you into? And what kind of skills will it provide for you, and what will it give you that you don't think at this point that you can get from anything else, or that you think you would have to study 4, 5, 10 other things to give you the same thing that ninjutsu would do, okay? And you don't have to be able to answer that right now, but this is part of the clarity. Because I got to tell you, without the vision, there's not really something specific to commit to. Remember, I talked about commitment first. That if I were going to put anything first, it would probably be the vision, right? But if you don't have a solid vision about things, then what are you committing to other than getting your black belt? But that's not vision. That's a goal, right? And then what's going to happen after you get the black belt? Then what? Right? So vision is that thing that, you know, it's that experience and that, call it lifestyle, call it whatever, right, that you will be able to do to produce results afterwards. Right? Because getting your black belt, anybody that understands the system, anybody that understands the process, getting your black belt is the lowest step on the mastery rung, because there's 9 more Dan levels after that and 5 more beyond mastery levels after that if you want to talk about mastery. Simply having a black belt or a Shidoshi title or somebody calling you Shihan or whatever does not make you a master, any more than calling a dog's tail a leg. It doesn't make it a leg. Okay? So anyway, vision, okay? Vision will also allow you to maintain focus because you know what it is that you're trying to produce. Okay? You know why you're committing to this thing, but you know why you need to, you know why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? So you can focus on whether or not you've attained that yet. You can focus on knowing whether certain skills are what they should be or whatever, because they need to match this vision. Okay? All right, so those 3, right? Number 4, at least on my list, right, is discipline. Okay? Discipline. Discipline, we're going to define discipline today as in a very rough and crude non-Webster dictionary kind of way, okay? The way I explain discipline very quickly to my students, and I don't care if it's somebody who is 5 or it's somebody who is 65. Doesn't matter, okay? Discipline in my dojo is defined as knowing what needs to be done, and whether you like it or not, you do it to the best of your ability, and you do it regardless of whether somebody else is watching or somebody else is going to check your work. Okay? Discipline is knowing what needs to be done and doing it because it needs to be done. Okay? If you've been around for a while in my programs and you study the Mikyo things, this is represented by the character Jizo. Okay? This bald-headed monk-looking guy, right? This character off the mandala. But Jizo represents, because he's dressed as a monk, right? He represents discipline. He represents the ability to do what needs to be done to attain to enlightenment or mastery or wisdom or whatever the term you want to use, because that's a necessary part of the process. Okay? To stay focused on the work. So focus in that one point was in focusing on the art itself and staying focused on one thing no matter what, not getting distracted, not getting derailed, not being caught up in the next shiny thing or next, iguana jutsu or bumblebee fu or whatever that comes along. You can stay focused, right? In this case, discipline is about doing the work. This is about the activity. You've been given skills to work on. You've been given techniques or whatever, and you're going to make sure that every day, tired or not, you're going to find time to practice those things. Okay, so discipline in this case is the self-discipline to do the work. Okay, it's not about liking it, disliking it, or whatever. Okay, one of the jokes I have in my school, I've got all these ideas. I keep throwing them out, these T-shirt ideas. And one of the T-shirt ideas that I've tossed out at my students with a chuckle is we should have a T-shirt that just right across the front says, "Nobody ever said you had to like it." Okay? If it's worth doing and you want to be successful and you want to master this thing, then there's certain things you have to do. And no one ever said you had to like it. Okay? If you want the benefits and the experience that mastery or success will give you, there are some things that are not going to be so nice that you're going to have to go through. Just like that beautiful, sharp razor blade of a samurai sword started off as this ugly piece of metal that was shoved into a furnace and heated up to, a couple thousand degrees, right? And then pounded on, and then scraped, and heated up some more, and pounded on, and just this process. If you look at the process, it's counterintuitive that the process of heating and pounding and scraping and, see, now we call it polishing, but what polishing really is rubbing abrasives across a surface to remove flaws. And the more flaws you remove, and the more limitations you remove, and the more impurities you remove through the process, the shinier and the more strong and the more sharp this thing becomes, until eventually it looks like a piece of artwork. It's this beautiful piece of artwork that is super deadly at the same time. Okay? So nobody ever said you had to like it, right? So we must have the discipline to do what needs to be done, whether or not it hurts, whether or not it's comfortable, whether or not we're tired, whether or not, the spouse doesn't understand or your friends want you to hang out with them, whatever. When it comes to spouse, one of the reasons why spouses are, resistant to or don't like the fact that you do this is actually your own fault, right? And if yours does understand, then I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person who knows their spouse doesn't understand it, right? It's your fault because you haven't communicated the benefits and the reason behind it. You haven't sold them on the idea, okay? Just a thought, right? And again, this is not something I'm going to jump into in this lesson. We have other programs for that, one called Ninja Motivation and Influence and things like that help to steer people around to your way of seeing things, right? Not manipulative, not deceptive, but a way that helps you to clarify why you're doing things. And of course, these programs also include the idea and the reality that you may have to cut your losses, okay, in one way or the other, okay? Acquiesce to them and stop doing this, or find new friends, okay? So anyway, all right, so that was number 4. Last one, right, is having a code of action or a set of beliefs, okay? And they're what this really boils down to, in our distance training program, our black belt training program, this is one of the first lessons that a student gets, and you must commit it to memory, okay? Just like the vows of intention, this actually precedes that. We call it our student creed, right? And it's actually based on our Mikyo training, right? Something called the Sanki Senkei, right? These 3 key components, right, of success when you're studying anything, right? And they are that you have to have a belief in yourself and your ability to accomplish what you set out to be. You have to believe in yourself and your ability to become this thing that you envision yourself to be, okay? You have to have a belief in the program that you're going through, that it will provide you with the lessons, skills, and abilities to become this thing you want to be. And you have to believe in your teacher or teachers, and that they are maybe not perfect at this point or whatever, but they're farther down the path that you're on, and they are walking, talking examples of the art, the practice, the discipline, the commitment, the focus, all these things, right? They're worthy of you listening to and following, and in some cases emulating, okay? That they know what it is that, you need to know, and at the same time, they're also a good support system, right? Because they've been through or are farther down the path of going through the process that you're going to have to go through yourself, okay? So again, those 5 things, right? These 5 things that you must possess if you're going to succeed at mastering ninjutsu. Commitment, right? Yeah, again, accepting that it's not easy. There's lots of challenges. There should be, right? And that you're willing to commit to this, not 110%. That's bull, right? Nobody commits 110% because you don't have 110%. You either have 100% or you don't. If there's 110%, then that's really the 100%, right? One of my teachers, speaking of T-shirts, one of my teachers had a T-shirt that said, if you're not giving 100%, you're taking up way too much space. Okay? Of course, he also had a T-shirt that said, if you die during training, we split your gear. So, cool stuff. Anyway, maybe that's where I got my T-shirt ideas from. So, anyway, so commitment, focus, right? No jumping around from this to this to this, from this style to that style, from this shiny new toy to that shiny new toy, from this technique and this skill to that one over there, without ever really, making any headway or progress with one before you move on to another one, right? Focus, okay? Vision, right? Knowing why you're learning this. Why is this important? Why is this the thing that's going to produce that future you and life or whatever that you want to be living, right? Why this, right? What you're going to be able to do with your skills once you possess them. It would also be helpful if you could hold in your mind who else is going to benefit as a result of you getting this, right? Who else is going to benefit, right? Next is discipline and actually doing the work, okay? This is not the same as commitment, okay? This is discipline. This is getting yourself up and actually doing the work, okay? Not like New Year's resolutions, right? You're not going to do it for a couple of days and then forget to even set the goal, right? You're going to do it consistently, right? And the first part of this discipline, right, doing practice or study or whatever it is, right, to develop it as a habit, right? First thing, the first goal, right, because this is all going into goals, right? Again, not vision. Goals are benchmarks and stepping stones or rungs on the ladder, to success, right? So the first one is in developing the habit to practice every day, okay? And to develop that habit, you have to know the process of developing a habit. And one of the parts of the process of developing a habit is to do the thing, okay, the thing that you want to become a habit, doing that every day for 21 days straight. You skip a day, you skip 2 days, 3 days, or whatever, the next day is one, okay? The next day, after a day you skipped, I don't care if you skipped 1 day, the next day is not. Let's say you did it 8 days straight in a row and you skipped a day, and the next day would be the 9th day of practice. No, day one. Because it's not about the practice, it's about the development of the habit of practice. Okay? 21 days straight to develop a habit. This is not Shidoshi Miller's idea. This is science. Okay? And then the last one is having a code of action or having a set of beliefs that you can articulate, right? And like I said, in this program, the distance learning program that we have, students are given this first thing, a student creed, and the student creed says, I believe in myself, I am confident I can accomplish my goals. See, there's belief in self. Number 2, I believe in what I study, I am disciplined, I am ready to learn and advance. Okay? So there's the belief in the program and an extension of the first one, which is the acknowledgement that I'm ready to do this now. Okay? I am disciplined, I am going to do the work, and I'm ready to learn and advance now. I'm ready to do this. Okay? And the third one then is I believe in my teachers, I show respect to all those who help me progress. Okay? So if I'm missing one or more of those things, right? If I don't believe in myself, that's just the killer for it all, right? I'm going to end up quitting, failing, whatever, right? But also, if I don't think the program is going to provide me what I need to become this person, I'm going to quit, right? If I don't believe in my teachers, right? That becomes shaky. So if I don't have these things, okay, one or more of these things, I'm either going to quit or I'm going to fail, okay? And you can call it whatever you want. You can call it drifting away. You can call it losing your focus. You can call it taking time off. You can call it whatever you want, but quitting and failing, okay? That's what it comes down to, okay? You're either doing it or you're not doing it, okay? It's kind of like that Yoda thing, right? There is do or don't do. There is no try, okay? So anyway, those 5 things: commitment, focus, vision, discipline, code of action. Again, there are more, but these are the core things. These are the personal traits, if you want to call them, right? The 5 things that you must possess if you're going to succeed at mastering Ninjutsu. Okay? All right. So that's it. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it gave you lots of things to think about, and hopefully it will help you to determine whether this is truly something that you're cut out to do. You, on a personal level, are cut out to do. Okay? If you're not, no harm, no foul, right? Find the thing that will allow you to do that thing, right? But maybe it's not needed to. If it is, fantastic, right? I'd love to talk to you about doing more and really designing something for yourself, but that's for another time. Okay, if you want to do that, that's great. You can contact me. The information for doing that is either on your screen if you're watching this in video format or a slide presentation or something like that, or it's going to be on the page where you found this somewhere. It's on YouTube or whatever. There's going to be a link somewhere or whatever. I don't know where that's going to be, but anyway, you can contact me and we can go from there, and that'd be great. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this lesson. And actually, as I'm doing this, I have my distance training students in the background listening to this as well. So I'm going to wrap this up so I can get to them and get some questions and all that. So who knows? Maybe in another couple of days, weeks, months, whatever, right? You'll be one of those guys or girls that are listening to one of these lessons like this, and you're going to be well on your way to not just black belt. We're not talking about black belt here, right? That's just this thing that's thrown around in the arts, and everybody gets to fantasize about this colored piece of cloth, right? Talking about on your way to mastering Ninjutsu, okay? All right, with that, I'm going to sign off, and I look forward to meeting with you and speaking with you again. All right? Have a great day.